Hello and good afternoon. It should be midday. It should be midday or around midday. Welcome back to October Red, the review. We said we're going to do this every Monday. We're going to release it at midday. I've wrote it down. I've committed to it. So here we go. What I decided to do though, and criticize me if you will, I'm just going to kind of focus on the TNT card. And the reason why I say that is because I haven't really had the time this weekend to review all the fights. But what I will say is shout out to Amanda Serrano, who went up against Ramos, who got the win, but pioneer trailblazer. She literally went for those 3-minute rounds. 3-minute rounds. Engine, gas tank says, look, we can do it too. Setting a trend, who knows? You can write that in the comments. But it was nice to see. Not that I ever disputed that it could be done. But it's nice to see that she actually set the wheels in motion. She's with, obviously, the Paul on Most Valuable Promotions, Jake Paul, who I had the pleasure of speaking to along with Amanda Serrano before she went up against Katie Taylor. And I think that might have been a couple of years ago now. Housekeeping as well. I probably should have done that first, actually. But a massive thank you to all of you guys that tuned in to the live on Saturday. As per usual, we had the regulars in there. We had some new people in there, but we did have a laugh. Good comments, good commentary, serious stuff coming in from the comments, some really good opinions, some fight suggestions, all of that. It really made the night what it was. There was me saying, look, I'm going to do it an hour and a half. The ring walk's going to be at 10 p.m. You know, we'll be done and dusted by 11. Tell us why we was there. What is it? Over 4 hours? It was like a marathon. Hold on, let me check. 4 hours and 23 minutes on a live. I was shattered. That really took the best out of me yesterday. But shout out to all of you and the new subscribers as well that jumped on after that. Also, massive shout out and thank you to YB who went live last night. I should have jumped on that, but like I said, I was just flaked out. I was knackered. Who gave me a shout out. So if you've come over here because YB suggested it, a warm welcome to you and a massive thank you to YB. We're growing and that's what we like to see. I will touch on a couple of the fights on Eddie Hearn's card, but only briefly. But I'm just going to go into, obviously, Saturday night with, obviously, Fury and Ngannou. We can go right back. So when Frank Warren was doing these interviews and saying game changed, and was like, is he trolling? What is he on about? The next fight that Fury is gonna be a game changer, this, that, and the other. And as it was proved, proof is in the pudding. We saw the whole event last week, and I'm sure some of the fighters went out the week before the actual fight week. If they got there Friday evening or Saturday, they were there for the full week. We were entertained all through the week with different events, whether it was the grand arrivals, whether it was the public workout, the weigh-in, the presser, then a gala ball evening. We saw the guests that turned up. Everyone and his dog, almost everyone and his dog was there. We saw some of the greats, you know, of old in boxing. Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Lennox Lewis, just to name a few. There were loads of people there. It was beautiful to see. Frank Bruno, I could go on. You've seen the picture. You've seen the picture with them all standing there, including Fury and Ngannou. I thought it was an absolutely spectacular event. I do believe that it was the game changer that it said it would be. It was all, you know, glitz and glamour, and it was just like a red carpet event, but for boxing. It was like all stars. I saw a couple of people saying, oh, they must have paid for everyone to come. They probably did, because they've got those long pockets and long arms to go in them, and they're not afraid to invest, to say, come on, we're doing this, we want your support. If they've got the money to pay for these celebrities, we saw Eminem, we saw Kanye West, Rio Ferdinand, the original Ronaldo, the R9, you know, I was a fan of his back in the day, a very, very long time ago. We're going back to the 90s now. But yeah, everyone was there. And I'm not mentioning guests. It's just that if I start mentioning everyone, You know, you watched, you saw who was there. It was a fantastic event. We were entertained. It was one of the rare times that I was literally scrambling over to YouTube to have a look and see what was going on now. They were doing TNT boxing. We're doing a lot of lives alongside Top Rank. Then obviously we had DAZN involved as well. So we saw networks coming together for the greater good to share different content, different presenters, different content. I only think it was Top Rank and TNT that shared, where we had Andy Clark and Dev Sani doing the double presenting across the two platforms. But then we had DAZN, we had Ade Oladipo, our resident, on there as well. So it was good to see the mix. Yeah, all of it. I've got no complaints about the production, except for when, after the first fight, when the transmission went down, and I was like, oh my God, Moses Ituma's fighting now, and his fight's not going to be aired, and we're not going to see it. But the stall, they obviously realised was a problem, and the stalled. But other than that, production fine. What I will say is the super content, the intimate content, and when I say intimate, sort of like in-camp content that we got from Boxing King Media was absolutely fantastic as well. So shout out to him. He was grafting. I don't even know how many YouTube videos he put up, because I haven't watched all of them, but I know there's a lot, and there's a few key videos that obviously we would have watched for that. So shout out to Boxing King Media, that I would say personally was the standout channel, the channel that literally went all out, and it was like, okay, let's absorb this content. Really, really good. Right, let's get on to the night itself. And I'll probably go back to housekeeping, because you know me, I'm haphazard. I'll start here and I'll start there, because I never plan these. I literally just plug in the mic and say, let's go. I haven't even put my phone on D&D, so hopefully it doesn't ring. And if there's background noise, there's people cutting down trees. Anyway, the event itself, that's the only thing. I got confused with the running order, because it seemed to change. But we had Boli and Takam. Takam, I think, was in the Ngannou camp. And I think Boli was in the Fury camp. We saw the weight on the scales. Boli's huge anyway. I've seen him. He's a giant. I haven't met Takam. But we saw that fight. We saw what happened. Boli, literally, you could hear the thudding, heavy shots. And Takam, eyes swelling up, didn't have the answers, hopping around on those legs, literally like he was on hot coals. It was like those bangs were just, it really hurting him. Until obviously we got the stoppage, and a fair stoppage at that, because he was going nowhere fast. In fact, let me see if I can, Boli versus Takam. Let me just turn the volume down on this, because I don't want any, do not want any copyrights on this. But yeah, it was a good fight, good mark for Boli. He seems to be making his comeback, as it were. I'd like to see him in some more fights, active. He seems to be under the banner of Boxer, even though I think I heard his trainer say that Boxer were too slow to make the fight, so they went over and got that fight made more quicker, expeditiously. But you did see the Boxer team out there with Boli, so it looks like he's under their umbrella. To what capacity, I don't know, because I haven't really looked into that much of him over there. But hopefully we'll see more of him anyway. Good move. Another fight that was kind of like over quickly. It was literally, and it was one-sided. It was very one-sided. But this is boxing. So when you think, okay, it's upping now, we're getting through these fights quicker. Then, like I said, we had the transmission issues. Everyone was on Twitter. Twitter went wild. People putting up pictures of their TV screen saying, what the F? Because I get dodgy internet where I live. So I thought, oh, maybe it's just the internet connection. Maybe it's down, etc. But no, it was across the board. And the apology message was there for everyone to see. We're sorry for this interruption of transmission. Then we had young Moses Itauma, and what I will say, it was nice to see, because Moses is sort of like he's set himself a standard that he wants to beat, become a world champion quicker than Mike Tyson. That's kind of like his goal, his aspiration. his dream. He's only 19 years old. He's being carefully and properly built with Frank Warren. Let's have a look at his boxing. They're touting him to be a future heavyweight king. He's been built. He's been built very well. That's the only thing that I won't argue. Because and my comparison is that they started off the same with Daniel Dubois, but they pushed him very, very quickly, pushed him into fights. And maybe the Joe Joyce fight was, you know, even though the public wanted it, maybe it was just too early for him. But with Moses, strategically, he's fighting. There's people saying, oh, I need to step up. He's 19 years old. He's fighting practically every 6 weeks. Frank's putting him literally on every card. Let's just see the fighter build. I don't see the rush. Do you know what I mean? He's already... When did he turn pro? He doesn't even have the month. But obviously he turned pro this year. He's had six bouts, and 4 of those have been KOs. We can't really argue with his performance. We've got to give him credit, and he's already penciled in. Oh no, they just haven't updated that. I was about to say they've penciled him in for another fight. It's all right. There's a question mark by it because obviously it wasn't in the UK. I presume I'm going to make that assumption. But Moses Itauma, yet once again, getting in there, getting the job done. But what I will say is that I can see that he's improving with every fight. What I like about boxers, and maybe this is just like a little pet peeve of mine, and I don't know, I like the order and stuff. I like to see composed, compact, meaningful shot boxers, and that's what I'm seeing from Moses. He's tidy, he's compact, and his shots are meaningful. In other words, he's actually throwing them with a purpose to hit you. It was beautiful. Or he got his opponent. Forgive me because I'm terrible with names. Stan Bernaf. Apologies. When he got inside, he got him with an uppercut and the hook, and you could see from the uppercut that obviously he was in trouble. But it was his timing and his accuracy and the way that he threw the shot is lovely to watch, and he's developing. And as you see, the more fights you have, the more active you are, you get to perfect your craft. Because guess what? When you're in camp, you're going to be having more sparring. You're going to be learning more, literally learning on the job, and showing us that he's becoming a really good, beautiful to watch. As in, he will be entertaining when he starts going those further rounds. But he's lovely and tidy. He's tidy. And when I say tidy, it's like he's technical. He's not messy. He's not, you say the raw and the rugged and what. He hasn't got that. So I like to see where he's going. Really happy to see his development. And congratulations to him for getting the win. And please stop complaining about him not going into tougher fights. We saw the possible mistakes that happened with Daniel Dubois, because remember, he was young as well when he turned over, and it was like rush. And we've seen how that's ended up. So fair enough. Unfortunately, it looks like Dubois might have been the blueprint, and then they're running off that blueprint to do a better job with Moses. And I like the way he's being built. And I think, just keep going, just keep building, keep getting the practice in. Fine. Draw a line under that. I knew the Makhmudov fight was going to be one-sided. There's not really any point. I knew from, I just knew that really wasn't going to be eventful. Makhmudov is Makhmudov. Those that have watched his fights understand his style and what type of boxer he is. I would say that was probably a mismatch, but the card needed to be filled. But it's one of them, so I don't need to discuss that. It is what it is. Makhmudov, just stay where you are. I'd like to see him take on some British prospects, though, if I'm honest. Test where they are, But yeah, less said on that. Joseph Parker versus, is it French-Canadian, Keane. Congratulations to Joseph Parker as well. We've seen Joseph Parker go from a world champion. He was a world champion at 24 years old. People seem to keep forgetting that. He was a world champion at 24 till AJ took his belt. Okay? He's been on the build ever since that. You know, he's been in some tough fights. Obviously, we've seen what happened with the Joel Joyce fight. Joel Joyce, to me, that was the best Joel Joyce ever fought. Joel Parker went back to the drawing board. He's there with Adeleye Body Puncher's camp. He's over here. He's in Team Fury. He's in that camp, the tight-knit camp, family-orientated camp, and he's been working hard. Then he had the fight against Jack Massey. Jack Massey stepped up. Obviously, he's cruiserweight, but he stepped up to heavyweight to fight Joel Parker. That was on the Boxer card. Really tough fight for Joseph Parker. Jack really gave him a run for his money. Obviously, Joel got the win, but that was a tough fight. And then, it had us thinking, I wonder what's going to happen to Joel. Then, obviously, he gets on this card, and we see a really good Joel Parker. The Joel Parker that we remember, but a Joel Parker that's able to come in with that aggression. Because I remember I spoke to him before we fought Derek Chisora, and I said a lot of people would say that you just seem to be like the nice guy. Have you got that nastiness in you to step it up and be aggressive? Really be aggressive in the ring. Because what we see with Joel is sometimes he'll back foot it until he's backed into a corner. But we've seen a development from that. I'll go back from the Chisora fight to now. He's done really well. And this was a lovely win for him. I'm happy, he got the results. He got the result that he needed, which was the stoppage. I was really, really happy for Joel Parker. I'm just going to have a look on BoxRec because and that's the thing, he never comes up as Joel, does he? It's Joseph Parker. There he is. See, he's had 33 bouts, lost 3, one of them being the stoppage, the KO by Joel Joyce. But in those 33 bouts, he's had 23 KOs. He's 31 years old, like I said, previous world champion, age 24, and he stayed in the game and he stays grafting. So I'm really happy that he got the stoppage. Well deserved. Happy for him. Simon Keane, that was his opponent's name. On to the next. So fair play to him. Did he fight in he fought in Melbourne? Oh dear. I didn't know he had another fight. Yeah, I need to keep on top of that. So he fought between Joel Joyce, Jack Massey, and he fought in between that before he had the fight with Simon Keane. Whoopsie. So yeah, back on track for young Joseph Parker. Right, we move on to the main event. Apart from like waiting an hour, so I was on the live and I had to try and entertain everybody. So for those of you that then stayed in there that didn't fall asleep and thought, oh, I can't be asked to listen to this crap, I'll come back later. Fair play to you, because it wasn't that easy for me to stay there thinking, what time is this going to be aired for it to start again? Right. The fight then. Now, first of all, what I want to do is publicly apologise for being really dismissive of this fight. Dismissive. So I remember saying, look, all I want to hear about is December the 23rd. That's all I care about. That's all I want to hear announced. December the 23rd, I'm not really bothered about the fight. So I have to apologise, first of all, for my ignorance. Because how ignorant can one be to say that Francis didn't have a chance? But then I remember chuckling at the beginning of it, saying, oh, imagine if Ngannou knocks him out or whatever. Because you do, don't you? You say, when you're dismissive and you go back and say, oh, but what if? So we talk about the fight. Fury's been in camp. He's been training hard in camp. I know one of the fighters that's been in camp with him. They've all been training hard. The week has been very overwhelming. Francis was very relaxed from the start. Even Mike Tyson at the presser was like edging him on and saying, tell him you're going to beat his ass, blah, blah, blah. Because that's Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson likes that aggression. But he wasn't having on it. Francis was like, no, I'm cool. This is what it is. Laughing and joking, a bit of banter, whatever. Tyson Fury is Tyson Fury. Talks a really good game. He's entertaining. That's why people watch him. Obviously, his father getting involved as well. which to me made Mike Tyson very happy. Mike Tyson likes that. He likes the drama. So when he saw that, he was like, excitement. So we saw all of that, and I'm still going into it quite dismissive of Francis. So like I said, I hold my hands up and I do apologise. I apologise to the MMA community and anybody else that said, you know, you need to take Ngannou seriously. Because all I'm thinking of is Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. And I'm thinking, these two sports don't gel. And it's not about this. It's about December the 23rd. So that's all that's in my head. And this is the casual side of me. And I'll openly admit that I've got that casual side of me. I was overlooking this fight and just thinking, need to see Fury Usyk. We need to see Usyk Fury. Undisputed. That's what we want. Let's get the heavyweight division moving again. So then the fight. You know, Ngannou's sort of like, he's got this, you know, his MMA stance. So his gloves are slightly facing that way rather than like the normal boxing stance way. So he's got that because it's ready to like parry and like catch and obviously go into the MMA style. So he's got that. His feet were sometimes square. Obviously MMA, your feet are closer. Boxing, you're more diagonal as such. Fury, you know, the flinching style that he's got, you know, he's flinching, he's moving all over the place. I'm saying, yeah, okay, head movement. But then I started to notice that Ngannou was starting to like really pop a stiff jab, stiff, meaningful jab. So I'm thinking, hold on a minute. What's going on here? You know, and don't get me wrong, Tyson Fury's coming back with the shots as well. But what I'm trying to say to you is that I didn't expect Ngannou to box. Like I said, sometimes he was square on, sometimes his elbows were flailed out, and I thought, oh, Tyson can whip those body shots in and probably get him to the body because his elbows were going up because he's like in that kind of like MMA style. So I thought, so I'm thinking, how come this geezer's boxing? So I'm taking a step back now, and he's really starting to pop, and he's catching Fury, even though Fury's like, you know, with his head movement and that, he's still catching him. I'm thinking, so the pad thing was a joke. When he was on the pads and he was like slow-mo, and even Tyson himself, even Tyson Fury said, I can't take the pads seriously because I'm only going to show you. You ain't going to show him what you're really doing. But he was in there and he was boxing. Like I said, yes, there's improvements because obviously the MMA style and the boxing style is completely different, including the basics, the stance. And even Ngannou in a post-fight interview that he gave on his own channel, fair play to that, self-made, he said he knows that he was square on. He's got improvement to work on his feet. He likes the Tyson style where Tyson's able to move in quickly. He's got them quick feet. He knows he's got work to do. And look, I want to make it clear, I know that Tyson Fury has been knocked down before, knocked out before, because we've seen it with Deontay Wilder. So when I'm shocked, when you see me on the live and I'm gasping, I'm going, what? It's because I didn't expect an MMA fighter to do it. That's the difference. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not the fact of Fury getting, because if Fury went in there and he fought Usyk or he fought Anthony Joshua and he went down, it's going to be the gasp of the knockdown. But what I'm saying to you is I never expected Fury to get knocked down by an MMA fighter. Yes, everyone said Ngannou's strong. He's a heavyweight UFC. He's heavyweight. He's got punches. You've seen the size of his legs, so you know what's coming from his core. He was in good shape. But I didn't expect to see that. And then you could see almost like Fury's like the confusion, like what on earth's going on here? So then you ask, did he overlook him? Did he take him seriously? It went the distance with a very, very good performance from Ngannou. I'm not going to use the word robbery because we like that word so much, don't we? I'm going to say it was a close fight. It was close, but I would have edged towards Ngannou winning that because it wasn't one-sided. It was close, but I would say Ngannou got the win. Shocking. But this is boxing. And I remember they had like Usyk, obviously Usyk's there as well. And somebody made a comment, I can't remember who it was, whether it was on a tweet or it was in the chat. Usyk's face looks like, you know, when he's got a figure in his head, because obviously Tyson wins in an emphatic way, in a show-stopping way. that money's stacked up there. And somebody made a comment like, Usyk's watching his money to dwindle away, like his money's gonna go down because if Tyson Fury loses this fight, it's like, yo, so where's our big money fight? And this is when everybody says, oh, I'm not in it for money. I mean, you are. Because if someone says to you, I'm gonna pay you 100 mil, and you're thinking, okay, I'm getting ready for this fight, I'm gonna get 100 mil, hypothetically, because I don't know what the figures are, and you're sat ringside and you know that person, you're thinking they're going to win as well. So that you practically, that 100 mils in your bank, it's already there. In your mind, it's already there because of course he's going to win. So imagine you're sat there and you're seeing that 100 mil. You're looking at your opponent. That's your bag. And then you think he might lose. Yeah, I'd be devastated as well. So when Usyk said that he was shouting out things, and I think that was in Boxing King Media's interview. Shout out to Boxing King Media, I think I've done that already. He was shouting things for Tyson Fury to do, like move your head, all of these things. I haven't watched all of the Tyson Fury interviews because I haven't. I saw the one sort of like he was, matter of fact with Boxing King Media, because I think that was the first one that come out. I saw the face-off afterwards, and when you deep it, obviously Fury gets his hands raised, doesn't he? Ngannou's very humble in defeat. He even said it. Go and watch it on his channel. I know that because of all the politics, I would never have got that win. I never would have got it. The only way I would have got it is if obviously I stopped him, like properly stopped him. So he gets it. He understands the politics. Obviously, we know that he parted ways with UFC anyway. So he's going to understand the politics of boxing. So the face-off happens with, Usyk, and Tyson must be like sitting there thinking, what the hell just happened? And now I'm facing off with this guy. And fighter to fighter mentality, what was Usyk thinking when because Usyk's got those starry eyes. People say I've got those starry eyes. Usyk's got those eyes that will just burn into you. And to me, Tyson looked a little bit uncomfortable, but maybe he was just like bewildered with what had just happened. Yes, he got the win. They gave him the decision. I haven't got the scorecard, so I can't even go through that. But he looked bewildered. Like so much is going on. When you've just like, I don't know, something's happened to you and everyone's talking at you and everything's just like moving in slow motion or come to a halt. That's what his face looked like. And now, December the 23rd, it just looks like that's in the bin because, like I said, the conversation that he had with Boxing King Media said, see you all next year. See you all next year. And then I've seen a couple of things on Twitter saying, when Tyson was saying, 23rd or nothing, and if he doesn't, I'll sue him. I think there was a caveat where he said, if I'm not injured, but we'll see. And then obviously now it's like, see you next year. So the fans are like, what on earth's going on? Why is he saying this? And then it just like deflates the public, because whereas, I remember people saying, oh, they've only announced the Usyk fight to sell the Ngannou fight. And it was a good carrot because, I, for one, bought into it. But it is what it is. Until it is what it isn't. So it looks like the 23rd of December's in the bin. I did find it funny how Eddie Hearn came out straight away. I think it was within minutes with his take on it. Obviously, go over to Matchroom and watch it because it's on the Matchroom channel. I think Ngannou should stay in professional boxing because he showed that, once he gets his footwork right and, some more fundamentals, I think he'd be fun to watch. I think he'd be entertaining to watch. And it's ironic that he said he always wanted to be a world champion boxer. So it's like this in life. You always drift back to what you meant to do. Do you know what I mean? So fair play to him. So, yeah, don't get me wrong, I could be wrong, but from the initial thoughts, it doesn't look like December the 23rd. So that's probably going to push over, because what we're hearing now is possibly Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. Is that date now going to be the 23rd of December? And is it going to be in the UK? because Eddie Hearn's intimated that, yeah, we're going to get that fight in the UK now. Boom. But before I go, because I can't believe I've been talking for 30 minutes, Saz. It's one of them, innit? David Adeleye. Fabio Wardley versus David Adeleye. We're gonna put it right. Adeleye started off well. He started off better than I thought he did. Because one of the things that I asked him in our conversation, you can go back and look at it, is you talking about, you know, this boxing brain. We've seen the power, but can you show us that you've got the IQ? And he was, you know, convincing everybody that, yeah, of course I've got the IQ to do it. Of course I can show you that I'm boxing, and obviously the sparring rumors and this, that and the other. And to be fair, Adeleye started well. His timing was good. His range finding was good. But then Fabio, after taking the shots as he does, because he's not afraid to take a shot, he just kept the pace moving, kept on coming forward, and then he started to close that range. At first, Adeleye had that, so Adeleye was able to go in, out, pop him and move out, and Fabio couldn't catch him. But then Fabio, on the job, learnt the patterns, and he was able to switch it. So when he switched it, what happens is he comes forward, he finds the distance, he gets comfortable, then he starts to let the shots go. This is what Fabio does. He will let rain on you because he's not afraid to take some on the inside, and he's been down and he's got up. Yeah, we know that he's got that about him. So he starts to let the shots go. And at first, Adeleye throws one counter back, like a swinging hook back or whatever. Even tried to get some uppercuts in on the inside. But as the rounds went, yeah, that started to fade. And we saw less and less coming back from David Adeleye. Literally, Fabio moving forward, letting the shots go. Adeleye trying to throw like one counter until it became no counters, till he just started to shell up and take the shots. Until obviously Fabio knocked him down. I can't even remember what round that was now. He got the knockdown, and I noticed that round that obviously his face was already, it was bloodied up, wasn't it? David Adelaye's face. Let me see if I can get that up. Just got Tyson Fury everywhere on here now. YouTube. Adeleye. Let's have a look. He wants to fight Fabio again. Don't know about that. Not yet anyway. Let's have a look. Knocks him down to the floor. Yeah, his mouth was bloodied up anyway. We saw that. Then he knocks him clean down. Soon as Adeleye gets back up, his legs are all over the place. I remember in the live shouting, look at his legs, look at his legs. He was all over the place, trying to stay in there, but you can see he's drunk from that shot until the ref obviously says, no more now, and stops it. And he gets that stoppage. Adelaye's angry. He pushes the ref back, and then I think he gives him a little tap. Say less. So he's obviously frustrated. And then that's the end of that fight. Yet again, because who did I speak to? It was Gareth A. Davis, and Gareth was saying he edges towards Adeleye as a favourite. And then I went, what? Because he mentioned about Adeleye having more experience. And this is where I'm saying that sometimes, listen, I spoke to fighters, amateur fighters that have turned pro. They've said it's practically two different sports. So if you want to come in the comments as a pro boxer, but the pro boxers that I've spoke to that have had that amateur career have practically said it's two different sports. Yeah? So you can't really go around judging people solely on the amateur career. Yeah, because even though David wasn't an Olympian, didn't go to the Olympics, he's got a good amateur background. But Fabio Wardley's white collar, then pro. He's had to learn on the job. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be some you know, some that will follow the rule and have that decorated amateur career and go on to be, you know, world champions in the pro world. But it doesn't always work like that. And I think sometimes we've got to stop talking about what they did in the amateurs. And we've literally, all right, it's there, it's banked. But look at their performances as pros. Because what Fabio has shown us is that he is prepared to continue to come forward, and he's prepared to let the shots go even when you hit him back. You have to really stop him in his tracks. You're going to have to stop him for him to stop. Because we saw that. We know that David's got power because we've seen him stop people before. But we've also seen that Fabio's been down and got back up. And the reason why I've kept this fight to the last is because it's a fight that I was most looking forward to. It was a fight where I spent the 21 quid or whatever it was. Because now Fabio has took David's belt. So he's got 4. Is it European? Commonwealth? British? Yeah? He's the champion. He's that level now. And he has said, I want one more fight at British. And Fraser Clark was in the audit. Fraser Clark was behind the barriers. And Fraser's like, yo, what you saying? Look, we're going to get this fight on or what? And Fabio's like, yeah. Because I know that them pair actually want to fight each other. They do. I know that Fraser did. You know, we've had all that debacle with the purse bids. Fraser's cut outright and said it wasn't, you know, it wasn't me. It wasn't my sole decision. Do you understand? Because he wanted that fight. He's always wanted that fight. Say what you want. Fraser's always wanted the fight. Yes, he has to bear, he's got the cross to bear on his back because of what happened. So I get it when people say, oh, he doesn't deserve it. You know? But them pair want to fight. And this is where sometimes my ignorance will kick in, because we've got Solomon Dakers that is the English champion. So to me, the next progression for the English champion is to go for the British. But Fabio doesn't really seem interested in that. And the feedback on the internet, because I put things out on Twitter and whatever, and the reason why the Fraser Clark fight seems to be more interesting to, you know, the majority of the audience is because that's a money fight. Because obviously Fraser's an Olympian. So when you talk about money and making money, and Fabio wanting one more fight at that level, he's going to go for the fight that's going to get him the most money, isn't he? And obviously Fraser is going to get the good money to fight the British, European and Commonwealth champion. So when you look at it like that, it's all about the money. But then it's unfair because then, like, people like Dakers wanting to push on his career, like people saying, "Oh, well, he hasn't got the Olympic background." A couple of people said that, you know, his fights are not exciting. His fights, if you look at exciting, it's because he's very technical. So what happens is he goes in there and he just outboxes people. That's what he does. That's what he does. I spoke to him. I said, yeah, technical ability, can't argue with that, but we need to see the power. We need to see the knockouts that he says he's been working on. But this is what people are looking at, and you've got to look at it from like the business perspective, which is the more financially handsome, and this is for the fighter's perspective, and which fight do you think will be more entertaining? And at the moment, it just seems like people are gravitating towards the Fraser Clark fight. I'm either or, I don't mind. Because I do think that Solomon Dakers is a tricky fight for Fabio Wardley because of his technical ability. I think that Fraser will go to war. I think we'll get an exciting fight because them two are going to trade, and it could get very messy, and we could more than likely see a knockout. So yeah, it's one of them. The balance is up in the air with that. Anyway, that's enough from me for today. I could have gone into Twitter and everything that's been going on around there, but it's kind of like the weekly roundup. I've gone on longer than I should have. This should have only been 15 minutes, but it is what it is. Like, subscribe, share, all of the good stuff. Tonight is Monday Night Smoke on the Undefeated podcast. Head over to that. That should be a good listen. And then remember, on Saturday, I'm doing another YouTube live for the Cordina Vasquez fight. I'll put up the times and all that later on. But thank you once again. New subscribers, welcome, warm welcome to you. Original subscribers, thank you so much that you stayed. And yeah, it is what it is. Oh yeah, content this week, Wednesday, London, Bill and Smith, Masternat press conference. So I'll be there, so expect some content then. But until then, from me, sincerely, Abs of October Red, stay ready.